Hey, this tutorial will cover how to import animations, custom models with custom skeletons, retargeting a few animations, and a few other things. See this as a definitive tutorial for Kingdom Hearts 2 modding in terms of models and animations. I will also cover some things like root motion or collisions inside your moveset. This tutorial is only for Kingdom Hearts 2. I will cover how to extract KH1 models, birth by sleep models, drop distance models, and RECOM models as well, but for Kingdom Hearts 2. So, with what we're gonna start is, you need Openkh. This is where all your tools are, at least 90% of them. So, to download Openkh, you just click on Release. GitHub today a bit slow. And click on Assets. Click on Openkh.zip. After that, the download will start. When the download is done, click on that zip file and it pop-ups this here. This zip is where you extract folder somewhere where you can access it pretty easy. I will put it right now here. You see, here are all the tools. I have it already here on the left side, so I'm going to delete it again for me. And the next step is, you wanna download Blender. Don't download the latest version of Blender. You want exactly 3.0. So you're clicking on looking for previous versions. Click on that. Then you click on download any Blender. Then you are looking for Blender 3.0. You click on that. Then you click on Blender 3.0 Windows x64.zip. This is a portable version of Blender 3.0, which is really important that you have that. If the download is done, you just click on zip file again and put the folder where you can exit as fast as possible. After that is done, you're going to download ioscene_fbx. You can find that on the Openkh server. It's pretty easy to find there. Do a double click on that and you see Python files, which you wanna go to import into Blender. So you're going to click on your Blender 3.0 folder, then 3.0 again, scripts, add-ons, scrolling down a little bit, looking for ioscene FBX. Then you're going to import these files here, putting them in here. If it asked you if you want to replace these files, then yes. Then you can close the zip file again. Then you can move completely back and open Blender. Now we are installing the retargeting plugin for Blender. I have that already set here as a zip file. I will post the download link below. I'm going to copy the path now. You're going back to Blender, click on Edit, Preferences, then it should open this window here. You're going to click on Install, go over here to your path where you have downloaded that zip file. It's a GitHub link, by the way, at the end. And then you double click the zip file. It tells you down here modules installed. So you're going to look for Animation retargeting stuff should be this one here. Animation retargeting stable. It is already activated, it seems. The auto is MNI. I can't spell that, pronounce that. And make sure that this is checked. You can close the window afterwards, and if you press N on your keyboard, this will appear. Then you can click on animation. Not on animation, on retargeting. This is for your animation retargeting stuff. The thing is, it opened my already Blender 3.0, so I have more plugins already installed. So this is thing. And yeah, if that is done, then you're pretty much done with customizing your Blender 3.0, and it's ready to import, export files, and. Perfect. And then we are moving on to actually retargeting some animations. Now we are moving on to retarget an animation. So what you're gonna do first is looking for your data folder, KH2 that you have to be extracted. If you don't know how to set Openkh up, the mod manager here, follow another tutorial linked in the description. Look for OBJ and look for your model and moveset you wanna use, the OBJ folder. I have done that already. So we are going to this one here. I will retarget a Roxas animation to Sora. So scrolling down in the Openkh folder and look for KH2 Object Editor. Do a double click on that. And this window will appear. Make sure that the MDLX model file and the MSet moveset file is in the same folder, and then just drag and drop the model file into the object editor. This will open the model as well as the motion list here. Good, so you can just double click on that animation right now. You see already, you can move a bit along, frame per frame. You can also click auto at once. It will always play every 3 or 4 frames, the animation, this tool here. And we are looking for an attack animation. Let's stick with the basic combo, which will be on slot 604 or 300. This is Rox's first attack. This is the animation we wanted to retarget now. So you are going to right click on this slot here. Click export FBX animation. It will take a while, so I'm going to extract that in my retargeting folder. Press save. Important note: animations extracted this way only works in Blender. I think it was something because of ASMP or something. I'm going to extract this animation as well. This one is... nope, I'm extracting this one. This is the second combo. Export FBX animation. Take a while. Then we are going to import it here. I rename it to 2, so I know what this animation is. Then I'm going to extract this animation as well. Right click, export FBX animation. Take a while, name it 3, and save. This is just for Sora alone. So Roxas to Sora. Then we have our animations in here. You double click on that, normally the 3D viewer will open and you will see this mess. First frame and the last frame is always correct, but the middle will just, do something like this. The same will be applying to noises, which will come later to it. We will need that, not now. And we are going to open Blender. See, it's already Blender, it's here. You wanna remove that. Then we are minimize that. We see we need a model to actually put that on. So I have already the model file of Sora in here, which is PAX100. Then we are looking here for KH2 MDLX editor. Double click on that and drag and drop the model in here. See here Sora. We have collisions, textures, etc. etc. We are going to export this model as an FBX and putting it right onto this folder in here. Save. Then we can close that again. We will not need that anymore. We have our FBX in here. We can delete the textures, we will not need them for animations. Back to Blender, File, Import, FBX. Our retargeting folder will see all of these here. We are going to import Sora first and we will see already deposing Sora, armature, etc. You see already that here on the top right there is armature, which is correct. If this name here would be bone000, then something is wrong. That means you have installed ioscene_fbx not correctly. Then we are going to import the animation, which is also an FBX. We're going with the first one. We see already Roxas standing here. If we play this animation now, it gets played. That's even pretty good. If we look a little bit closer, you see that each keyframe here represents not one frame for one frame. Best animations are having one by frame. It's probably better, but it doesn't matter in our case. We have an animation that we can use right now. What we're gonna do now is think for that a little bit, and then we are moving the frame rate on this tab here, output properties, 30. This is what we're gonna use normally for animations. Then press on your keyboard N. Looking for retargeting, shows armature, which is the target, and the source will be armature 001, which is the animation. Then you just have to create a bone mapping. Name it create. You can make it bigger. Then it will look like this now. You can add bone pairs by clicking plus, more pluses, and. Then we retarget Roxas animations that should go up to 282 exactly to Sora's bones. We are clicking on the first one, bone 00, bone 00, which is correct. Bone 01, bone 01, bone 02, bone 02. You can also just type the number you are looking for and then choose the bones. But the thing is, I already have a config ready. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z to remove all of that and load my own config that I have already made. Which is here. It's a blend retarget file, Roxas to Sora, and click on that. You can ignore this one here. You then click on edit. You see already the bones I have here foot, pretty much. Normally I haven't used Ostanova's way to extract these animations, which is why the bone names are a bit wrong. So I have to fix that manually right now. This, 2, 3, 6, 8. This will take a while. So, after you have set every single bone here, you're pretty much done. So you click on done, going to save that again. I name it for now untitled. Then you click on rest alignment, edit, and apply. It will take a little while. And then if that is done, click on linear interpolation, bake into action. That's pretty much done. So Roxas animation should be now done. Going to click the bone, enable the bone drivers again. Playing his animation, which looks like a charm. So after that you normally can just delete the animation that you have here, but sometimes the tool is a little bit buggy. So what you're gonna do is close that, open Blender again, import your model and import the animation again. Then you do the same just again. But this time you load the config instantly, which is this one. Then it will look like this. Then you just click on edit again and apply the rest pose. Then you do it again and bake into action. That's pretty much it. Then you can delete the animation with all the models from Roxas. By deleting it. Now you have only Sora in here with the animation. What you're gonna do now is clicking on display mode, Blender file, open actions, click on armature 001 export, right click, delete. Then you can go back to view layer. Now this animation is completely alone, without influence of Roxas. Then you're going to click File, Export, FBX, Retargeting, I name it 1 for now. Clicking on Armature, uncheck Add Leaf Bones, open Bake Animations, Key All Bones and NLA Strips needs to be unchecked as well. Then you can export the animation. If you then now look with the 3D viewer, the animation, it should look like this, which is a bit slow. So we are going back here into Blender, back to output properties, change the frames. Now we are going to put that 30, which is not way faster. So I'm going to put it on 60 now. Should look like this. This way better, and then I'm going to export it again. This time the settings are saved, so just going to overwrite the, click on that again. Should look like this now. I will do the same now with the other two animations. So now that you have exported these animations, we are going to close Blender. We have no need for that anymore. And then we see our animations in here. One bigger as the other one. Look at them. Seems to be working. Seems to be good. Then we are going back into our Openkh folder. Then we are going to drag and drop these batch files, credits to Oathseeker for making them, and putting in here in Openkh. Going to this, and then we are using ANB Maker batch point bat, because this is the one we are going to use. This is for interpolation, the animation and stuff, and the other one is just a raw animation, which we will use very, very rarely to use. And the scale version is to scale the animation up, like times 10, times 50, times 100, or whatever scale you want to have the animation. So we are going to our animations, drag and drop them onto the ANB Maker. Then we are going to enter the bone name, which is for our animation bone 0000. Enter, and then we need to drag and drop the folder where we want to generate the folder, the animations. I'm going to do it like this. Boom. There's our first animation done, and it will output an ANB and a raw file. The raw file is something you can delete. It will also generate an M set for one animation, so you might test it or something. I will not use that right now. Then we are doing the same with the second animation. And we are doing it for the last animation. Seems to work completely fine. Then we are deleting the M sets. And now I will explain a problem that might come across when trying to make an ANB. I know that the maximum is around 150 kilobytes or some sort of that for an ANB, because Kingdom Hearts 2 can store more animation data than in 16, if I remember correctly. So we are going to open Blender right now. And we are doing something stupid just for the lols so we can see a problem. I'm going to open right now Sora's last animation, because this one is the longest, this amount of keyframes. Just for the lols, I will copy these keyframes, going to this frame 66. Looks awesome right now because they have a fluent frame per frame animation, and I'm going to double it. So he will perform the attack 2 times. Thing is, it will look a little bit stupid, but doesn't bother, it's just for the testing purposes right now. Then you're going to export the animation as sample rate 1.0, this, and if you now want to put it on the ANB maker and try to make an ANB with that, then it will generate a failure. Value was either too large or too small for an int16. So, because of that, you can't make an animation for Kingdom Hearts 2. So, the animation contains too many keyframes, and to these keyframes itself, it also has a lot of keyframes here. Going to dope sheet, I think it was. There. Each keyframe here has also a keyframe in, other things. You go down, you see there are a lot of keyframes, and there. You can remove keyframes via the dope sheet or the graph editor, how many you want, or smaller the animation itself, or you can also just export the animation with a sample rate of 2 or 3, or 2.5 or 3.5 or whatever you want. Export this animation so it will be looking like this then. Still pretty normal, but it actually removes keyframes in between, so it looks still smooth. But if played slowly, it will not be that smooth anymore. I can maybe see this already. Yeah, you see it's still very smooth actually. So yeah, we are just trying to put it in the ANB maker again with sample rate 3.0. Then pressing enter. And boom, the animation worked this time. Deleting the M set. There's our untitled ANB, which is 111 kilobytes big. So you have now 2 end attacks from animation 3 in here. Just compressed, I would say. We're going to delete that again. We don't need it. It was just for the testing purposes, so you know that this can happen actually. What we are going to do now is, we have our ANBs and we need to put them into an M set. So I don't have an M set here right now, so we're going back And in your data folder KH2 and OBJ folder there are MSets. I have already an MSet here for Sora, so we are going to use that. Open the tool KH2 MSet editor and it will open this. Drag and drop your MSet of Sora in here and look for slot 604, which is here. This is your animation right now, and on the right there are E-casters, C groups, doing some stuff, contact points, sometimes audio playing, footstep sounds. The left tab here is rotation to target, facial expresses, RCs enabling and stuff, and also for combos, continue to make a combo or something. So I'm going to save this E-caster, my tools. I do the same with 302 because this is the second animation, and I'm doing the same with with 4 because this is Sora's last animation, I think. So. Then we are just going to click on 604, right click, delete pointed file, and put this first A and B, the first attack, in here. We're doing the same with slot 612, which is the second attack, putting it in here. Then we are doing the same with 304 and putting it in here. I name it now 3 and 2 and the last one 1. I'm going to delete 303 as well because this is another finisher of Sora. So I'm going to delete that. Then click on right click on slot 660 and change this pointer. And then we are looking for 3. So in order to optimize that a little bit, we're pointing the same animation that is here onto this file to save another 145 kilobytes for that attack. Then you're going to click on replace effect caster for the third animation. It's this one. And then this one, the first one. So, our animation is now 40 frames long. You can measure this with an animation viewer or anything, and our combo will continue at frame 23 and ends when the animation ends. For the second one, it's the same. The animation is 47 frames big. It starts the next combo if you want with the finisher on frame 44 and ends when the animation ends. And the last animation doesn't have that. So I don't actually know how that is done. Probably when the animation ends, or I don't know. Maybe it's the unknown one, but I don't know. So then we are going to save this MSet onto our new MSet. Then you can close this tool. Then what we're gonna do now is in our Openkh mod folder, if there is no KH2 folder, you make one, and here you generate an OBJ folder for the MSet, and then you drag and drop or copy this MSet into this folder. And if you have Openkh correctly set up, you just hit run only. Don't build or something, just run only to load the files that you have put it into your KH2 folder. Then run only. Take a while, I use the Steam version, it's the better version in my opinion. Then we test our animations out in-game. So, I'm going to load my save file here, and then let's see if everything works perfectly fine. So there's no crash, and if I attack now, we have already the problem that the animation works, but Sora snaps back in place. Why is that? You might thinking. That's pretty much because of root motion. We doesn't have set up root motion, so Sora snaps back in place all the time. So what we're gonna do now is close the game. And then back here on screen, we are going to open an hex editor in, for me it's HXD, because this is the one I worked the most for this one. Then we are putting our generated A and Bs 1, 2 and 3 in here. Scrolling completely down. And on the complete top down here you see a lot of Fs. You're going to make these 4 Fs to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And on here you see this block here. To the right from 3F, but under E3, you make here a 0, 1. Then you're going to save it. You do the same with the second animation. Putting in here this. Then this. Save. For the last animation it will be the same. This. And this. Boom. Alright, after some testing I found out that animations from Roxas to Sora, the root bone is 0.5 for some reason. Usually you just use 0.0, sometimes also 0.1 or 0.2, but in terms of Roxas it seems it's 0.5. Sora's original animations also uses EE for some reason, but for Sora animation, for Roxas animations onto Sora, we will use 0.5. Going to save that. Then putting the other animations in, and down, and 0.5, save, down, 0.5, and we can close that again. Then we are going to open the MZ Editore again and delete 1, place 0.2, place, and the last one 3, and suck. Putting the animation well and suck. Save MZ 100, suck. Copying it over, and then we are going to test it. Now root motion should be activated for these 3 animations. And see there, it's working. Roxas base combo is now onto Sora. Looks kinda funny, not gonna lie. The only thing that needs to be changed now is the actual hit collisions, because it actually works very well with Sora's testing. Is kinda funny. We'll test it in a Roxas battle quick, just the base combo, and see how it performs. And then we will move on with the next part of the tutorial for KH1 animations. It hits 2 times. Okay, so that's pretty much done for the retargeting part. Now I will show for the damage part. For that we are going to open this tool again, putting our animation in. Then we are going to slot 604. We have our various EC stuff here, and we are looking for the actual damage part normally. So Sora's moveset doesn't contain these. So what we're gonna do is we're going back into the OBJ folder and looking for WAX010.mset and going to copy that, putting it in here. Then we are open this mset with this tool, going also to the same slot, 604. And there we see a Keyblade trail and the damage. The Keyblade trail starts at frame 30 and ends at 23. So I'm going to open this tool now, KH2XL Asset, and open it. Then I will copy Sora as a model into this folder here, because this is also where the mset is, and drag and drop over here. You can also bind the controller if you do the model onto here and try to open a different mset onto here to open. There's our animation, and we want to hit the animation, let's say at frame 50, I would say, and end the damage at like 23. Oh, okay, this animation actually is pretty similar, so we keep that and move on to the next animation, which will be 3 to 2, and this is this animation. It hits only one time. We want to hit the animation like at frame 19. So we are looking for the first damage, which is this one here, and putting 90 here, and the same for the Keyblade trail. The second attack doesn't exist, so we are just going to delete the second one here by clicking on that and press delete on the keyboard. And that's pretty much it about that. And then let's see when the attack probably ends. It's around, let's say 37. Going to put 37 in here. Then we are moving on to the last animation, which will be this one. A bit longer. So I'm going to, let's say it hits at this frame here, let's say 20. So we are going to put the damage onto here. The attack ends around 30, I would say. Doing this. The Keyblade trail also ends here, but the animation itself, the Keyblade trail starts, let's say around 11, I would say. We're doing this. And I'm going to delete this one here because they share the same slot. Then we are putting 303 onto there. And save that mset as a weapon mset for the weapon, vision, stuff, etc, etc. Then we can close both of them and putting it in here and test it again. Sounds like a good idea, I would say. For that we are testing Roxas again, because this is the most consistent one to test for me itself. I could do an extra object on the field or something to test combos and stuff, but I don't have that. So we are just doing it by beating Roxas. Alright, let's start. I hope it will just work perfectly. Back. What? And 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Seems to work just fine, I would say. Okay, control with mouse is a bit weird. Boom. Seems to work just normal. So this is pretty much the end for the part of animation retargeting. And then from there now we will move on for the KH1 tutorial. So now going with KH1, there are some things you have to keep in mind about KH1. First of all, a lot of animations are completely broken and will not work, at least not properly, except you know how to hex edit the animation afterwards. And I don't know how to do this, so I will skip this part. Also, some models are also not really working very well in Kingdom Hearts 2. Just a weird mess for some reason. I don't know why that happens and stuff, but you will see. First of all, we will make the model, which is an MDLS. We will turn Sora into a shadow, I would say. That we just put the model inside Noises. Then we are going to export it as a DIA. Noises are ready with all the plugins. I will probably put it down below as well in my description, and otherwise you can find it in Openkh on the Discord server. After you have done that, you pick the textures and the DIA you have extracted and go to KH Tools, KH2 Tools, the RECOM old builder, and put this in here. So what you're gonna do now is you want to open the RECOM MDLX builder, but you need to uncheck parse bone names and then put the model in here. This will definitely work. I mean, the model itself looks correct, which is definitely a good thing. So the model part is technically done and we can put it in here. So in our mod folder, which is OBJ, a KH2, OBJ, and there it is. And then we are going to rename it because we wanna make a Sora shadow. Why not? Then we are going back to one folder and there's our MSet from that shadow. We are putting it onto the MSet converter made by Disguster. It's also the only way to convert the KH1 animations as of now. And yeah, it will generate an animations folder with all these animations. So I will only need 0 and 2 because 0 is the idle animation and 2 is the running animation. I'm going to copy that out and putting it in here. Then I will go and open the KH2 MSet editor again. There we are going to put the MSet from Sora, the leading 0, the other 0 as well. Then we are putting 0 in here. Change the pointer to 0 as well. Duster. And then we are deleting number 2 as well and putting animation 2 in there. Renaming it to 2. Deleting the other 2 as well because it's the running animation. Then change the pointer to 2. We're doing this because that saves file size. So instead of 3 different animations in each slot, you have one animation in 3 slots to save more RAM. Because KH2 only has a RAM limitation of 23. We can bypass that right now, but in terms of optimization, you would do that. I'm going to save the MSet now and putting it in here. Then I am putting it in our mod folder, which is here now, and then I will just start the animation, the game. Pretty straightforward in terms of KH1, but it has a lot more problems and is buggy as hell, which is the problem. Let's see how it will look like in-game. So, as you can see, it works, but you see already what the problem is. If I run now, it will look like this, but the shows are not correctly, the feet, its arms are pretty much not there, and it just barely looks like this. It's kinda wonky and not really working, and that counts for most Kingdom Hearts 1 models, because it's just not working. I can't really explain you why, it's just not working. So, but we got Shadow Sora. But that's not all we can do. We can also extract these animations. So in order, we need our old AF MDLX editor, looking for MDLX editor, where is it? There it is. And there I'm going to put the shadow in, and then save as. Overwrite the old shadow MDLX. Because you could not open the MDLX in either the object editor or the MDLX editor. So now you can. If you now click on motion, and then let's say this one, you see already what the problem is with KH1 animations. Sora has the exact same problem for some reason. If I now auto advance, the animation will play, but you see it is a mess. For some reason in-game it looks a little bit better, but yeah, this is what is behind all of that. We're going to export this animation now, which will take a while. And then we are going to put it in here. If I close this now and open this animation with Blender, because it's necessary that this happens in Blender, because if you open it with the viewer, it will be like that. A whole mess. The first frame is normally correct and the last frame as well. This is because of a problem with aswell, if I remember correctly, so the animation will only work in Blender. I'm going to import the FBX, and then we are putting the animation in here, which will look like this now. But this is the problem why it is completely broken. It seems to look like correct, but it isn't. In terms of Kingdom Hearts 1 animations. Which things. So yeah, you might wanna give up on Kingdom Hearts animations. There are some animations that might work, like the Dark Side or the BMF. These two definitely are working, I tested that. There's some broken animations of them, yes, because you need to hex edit them. But yeah, it's a lot of work to get them working like that. So that's pretty much about the Kingdom Hearts 1 part, and with that I will move on to the Birth by Sleep part. Well, now we are moving on for Birth by Sleep. So what we're gonna do first is let's choose a model. We go back to data and then your extracted folder of BBS, and then we are going to Chara, then PC. I wanna do Terra, so I'm going to choose Terra, and then we will see a PMO. I'm going to open this PMO with Noesis, and you can already see his model. So the PMO plugin is also included to the Noesis pack. And then we are just going hit export and SDIA. Is already complete. Then we are opening Soraiko's old MBLX builder. Yes, the old one. I hate the newer one. And the newer one is also buggy as hell in my opinion. I'm going to... You can delete the default texture PNG and then drag and drop all of that in here. And then open Soraiko's builder. And then we just drag and drop the DIA in here. It will build the model for you and you see already, nope, something is wrong. The model itself looks good, but it's tiny AF. So we are going to rebuild it, but this time we are going onto this little box here and typing 100 in there. Then we are drag and drop it in here again. And now it looks actually correct. There's 3 textures. They look all a bit weird, but it doesn't matter. And then we can close that. Then we are going to delete the old stuff, which we will need. And then I'm going to put the model already in the mod folder and be putting it over Goofy. So I'm going to name it like that. And we see it working, it's looking good. And. What I'm gonna do now is we are going to open BBS Mesh View 1.2. We are going to open that and then we minimize that because we need to do something else first. We are going back to our Openkh folder, looking for the arc command, which is here. Then we are opening another instance of our Explorer and going into the data folder, BBS again, then arc, PC, and scrolling a bit down until we see this here, P03 base point arc. We are going to open the CMD console, putting the open command arc in here. Then we are going to open the arc base in here. And then we are going to our birth by sleep folder, copying our path and copying the path in here. So that generates a new PMO, which is also just the model we have already converted to an MDLX, and the PAM, which contains the animation files for that. So we are going to delete the TXA file, this PMO file, which is a low poly version of the actual model, SAP file, and the text document. Then we have the PMO and the PAM. We are going back to BBS Mesh Viewer, open model, then we are going to our BBS Order, opening the model, then we are going to open anim, it's the PAM, clicking on skeleton, clicking on play, then clicking on the first animation, which is the idle animation, which looks nice. So then we are going to export this animation as an FBX and clicking export. Then we are clicking on the next animation, which is this one here, but for the testing purposes we don't need that. So we are going for nope, 9. Nope. Another one. There. There's the walking animation, and we are going to extract this as well. And then we are extracting number 13, which is another. Which is so. And we're going back to resources, export. Here 03. Oh, it extracted only the one animation because the name is always the same. Here's the same problem with Osanoa's method to extract FBX through asm. This animation will only work in Blender. I'm going to name it running. We are going back and extracting the other animations as well. Again. Export. What? Name it walking. Oops. Walking. And then we are extracting the idle animation as well. Boom. And then we can close the tool because we have no need anymore for that now. Naming it idle. So we could export these animations technically already into the game, but we don't wanna do that right now for Birth by Sleep. What we're gonna do first now is we're going still have to bear with it. We're going to open a new instance here, and then we are going to import the animation back to the BBS folder, BBS Mesh, resources, export, this one, and we're starting with the idle animation. So we see already our animation in here looking really good. Forward all the time, 1 keyframe per frame. Going to output properties, making it 30 because this animation needs to be 30 frames. And then we are going here on the first keyframe, pressing Ctrl C, then going up to this frame and Ctrl B. That copies the last frame here in. And then we are just going export this animation as an FBX, putting it in here and naming it idle. Done, I would say. Then we are unchecking all of these stuff here again. And then we're hitting export. Why we're doing this? Because these animations will lose 1 frame for some reason when extracted. I will show you in a second what I mean. We're going to do that with the running animation as well right now. Also because of the speed, FPS. There's the walking animation. Properties, 30 frames. Hitting the first keyframe, moving to the last one, and Ctrl V. Oops. What the heck? How? What? What? There's our keyframe, so it looks like this. Going to export as FBX and name it walking done. Armature, duck, export. And then we do the same thing for the running animation. FBX, running, and there's a running animation. Hopping over the first keyframe and then the last one. Don't forget the animation properties, 30 frame rate, export, FBX, walking, done. And then going to, oh wait, not walking, oh my god, running, done. Unchecking all of these and export. So, if I'm going to open now running, you will see absolutely nothing, which is a problem. But if I now opening the running done FBX exported with Blender, you see this. And the loop is actually correct. What the heck is going on with this? It's smooth, the transition is absolutely perfect. If I'm going to delete this keyframe here now and export this animation, then we will open that and you see it's slightly flickering. Not flickering, it snaps back or something. It's very small, but you can see it. Which I resolved by adding the keyframe from the beginning up to the end as well. So it doesn't get lost. Works perfectly fine. And I'm going to delete idle running, test, and walking. So we have our 3 animations in here. And then we go up here in our Openkh folder and we see our A and B batch files made by Openkh. And that's what we have imported here at the end of the retargeting part. And then we just going to drop the idle done onto batch scale. The bone of this will be root, which you can see here. Root. So I'm going to type root in here, the scaling times 100, because we have scaled the model as well times 100. Then we just drag and drop the folder where we want it to have, which I'm going just to put in the OBJ folder. Perfect. I'm doing the same with walking. Oops, I put it wrong. Root 100, drag and drop onto this. Boom, done. Then for the last, it's running. Root 100. Hit in here. Done. So I'm going to delete all the M sets because we don't need them. I'm going to delete the raw files as well. And we are pretty much done. We have our A and Bs right now. So now we are going to go to data, KH2, OBJ, looking for Goofy's moveset, which is here. Copying it over in here. Then we are going back to our KH2 tools folder, open the MSet editor from Sora and go Vanifi. And then we are just importing this MSet in here. And we see we have an animation in here, etc, etc. We just deleting it because 000 is the idle animation, which we will put in here. Will be right now this. So it has no EC casters or anything else. I will add the skip animation to the idle animation thing. I think it has to be this, which is just this button and the effect 0. But then we are going to delete the walking animation and putting all walking animation in. Name it walk, for example. Then putting it in here as well through change this pointer. Because if we do it that way, the animation will be still just for 61 kilobytes instead of like 180 kilobytes, because you wanna put the animation 3 times into an MSet in each slot. So you just change the pointer of that animation and it will just work like that. So we are doing the same with the running animation, which I will run for now. And then we do the same to change this pointer to run to these slots. This is what Goofy normally uses. We are not done. We're going to overwrite this now and then we are closing it. Now here's our model, but we are going to open the bar editor, which you can find. We just copy over Goofy's model. Then we are going back in here, looking for KH bar editor, which is here. We are opening that, putting the model from Goofy in here, the MDLX, and extracting the BDX, the model collision for now. Then we are putting our Terra model in here, clicking 2 times on add, clicking on dummy, changing the type to BDX, and as tag also just BDX or whatever you want, up to 4. Then here we are going to model collision, name it P_AX because why not. And then we are just going back to BDX, hitting import, BDX, model collision, import, POC model, file, save. Boom. There's all saved stuff in here right now. So, and now we can do a test run already. Boom. Which we will do as well. If everything now is correct, Terra should be displayed and should also idle, run and walk normally at this point without a crash. And we see there is Terra. He looks a bit weird. These weird things can be fixed with the remastered files later on if you wanna make it HD. And if we walk now, we see already he's trying to walk, but yeah, something is missing again. Collision is working, but his walking animation seems a bit, standing on place. What we can do here is now, if I do it correctly, we can now opening the hex editor and adding root motion to its files. So we are going to put the walking animation in here, scrolling completely down. I use KH2 by the way. And up to the last row here, we are replacing these F's with zeros. And here, right on the right from 3F here, we are going to put 01 to activate root motion. Then save it. We do the same with the running animation. Doing it like that. Duck, boom, and press save. Then we can close that, deleting the backups, and then going to opening the MSet editor again, putting our MSet in here, deleting walk for now, and putting the new walking animation in. Name it walk, and changing the pointer to walk as well. We do the same with running. Duck, name it run, and putting the pointer as well for run. Then going to save it again. Then we can close it and test it again. We're going to load my save file and start. So let's see if that fixes it now. Oh, actually it does not. Why? What is wrong with you? I have added root motion, you imbecile. So what I'm probably missing here is the animation should normally just work as intended. MSet is there. Why is it always root motion? Why? Back to KH. This. Opening MSet. Footstep sounds, it has always control. Is it just such a problem or is it really something? We're just adding the C-caster for skip animation. It interpolates back to idle. We are having it on every single one here now. I'm going to save that again. Root motion is activated. Then we are testing it again. Going to load for a save file. And let's see. Ah, now it's working. Okay. I thought I was stupid for a second, but yeah. There you goes. Terra's running, walking, and it's idling. That's pretty much how you can import animations and the model for birth by sleep. But we are practically not done. Now we wanna add HD textures for now. So I'm going to close the animation tab as of now. And then we are going back to data, birth by sleep. Then going to remastered, Chada, PC, P03AX, 00, PMO, and there are 3 textures. We wanna copy that, going back to our mod folder where OBJ is, creating a new folder named remastered. And in that folder we are creating another folder named OBJ, and in that folder we are creating another folder named P_AX030.mdlx. There we are going to import, copy over the texture files, the HD textures. These you can open them with Photoshop, I think, or something. I prefer to use GIMP 2. For everything I do in terms of textures, and we see already all of them. Then we are running the game again. And see how Terra will look like right now. So we are going to load, then going to run. And see here, he has no hole in his chest anymore. Looks actually pretty normal. Ugh. First person mode with mouses. Yeah, it looks good. He's idling, he's walking, he's running. He does what he should do. So yeah. And that's pretty much it. Imported the model, the animations, and even the HD textures to it. We also imported the cock model of Goofy onto there. But we are pretty much not done in terms of that, because the collision file of Goofy doesn't work one-to-one on Terra. So what we are gonna do now about this, we are going back for Openkh, opening the MDLX editor again, and putting our model in here. We can see here. It will look like this. Yeah, it's weird, but live with it. Then we are going to open the collision tab. You see it will crash. This is because you can't open it with the MDLX editor, since some collisions are bound to bounds that doesn't exist for Terra. So what we're gonna do now is we are opening the object editor instead and putting it in here, which is weird. I opening my version. This version just works perfectly fine. I will stick to this object editor. It's a little older version, Yeah, but it works. I'm going to the collision tab. It will look the same for you as well. And we see some bones here. We wanna change a lot of bones in here. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine, etc, etc. So, what we're gonna do now is, I'm moving that to my other screen. Then we are going to open the MDLX editor again. Then we are going to Data, KH2, OBJ and looking for Goofy's model, which is here. Then this will open. Holy shit. Then we are going to the collision tab in here. We see that Goofy's bones are the same in here. So pretty much if you that, we wanna change that. If I go now for target, pretty much this. So for Terra, it might be another bone. So what I'm doing now is I'm opening Blender again, and then I have our animation. I'm going to here the animation data. Wait, no. I'm going to actually no. What was it again? I want him to T-pose. Ah, no. Frick. I forgot how to do that. Damn. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Let's just delete the armature so he T-pose there. I'm going to object mode, weight paint, and going to the green little thing here and looking for... Oh yeah, this is a new method. Oh, I forgot. Okay, forget about it. We are going to opening the model with Soraiko's model viewer. Then we are clicking on that. And there we see a lot of things. So bone 2 is actually his raised. So I will add here on target bone 2. Then we have hit collisions. So in order to see there more, I'm going to again. Did I close the MDLX editor? I did, apparently. Alright. Then we are adding Goofy back in. And looking for bone 50. Which seems to be his head. So, Terra's head is... where is it? Where is it? There. 28. So I'm going to add in the object editor 28. Next one is 130. I'm going to look for that, and it seems to be his left leg. Which I will look here, which should be around this one here. This 14. Going to put 14 in here. So, and the next one is his other leg. So I'm going same, which is bone 4. I'm going to add 4 in here. And to the next one, it's his lower waist or something. So I'm assuming it's pretty similar to bone 2 actually. I'm going to add bone 2 then. The next one is bone 9, which is his upper chest. Looking for that. And there it was, which is 26. So I'm going to add 26 here again. And Goofy's 26 is left arm, left hand. So I'm going to look for left hand, which is here. Bone 46. Wait, nope, this is his thumb. There, 45. Going to add 45 in here. Then we have 4 more to go. Goofy's. This is like his ankle. I'm going to look for Terra's bone here, which seems to be 15. Going to add 15 in here. That probably means that this one is the other side, yeah. Going to look for the other side. Bone 5. So I'm going to add bone 5 in here. For the last one, 2 here, it's his neck and his head again. His head is first, which we know is already... I forgot. Ah, there. Bone 28. And his neck is 27. Done. I'm going to press save a lot of times because I like doing it that way. Then we are going to overwrite our MDL. It's marked. Yeah, but if I put it in here back again, it looks clearly saved, positioning, etc, etc. So I could try to open it again in the MDLX editor. I put it now in here and it works because the bounds are now completely set. Some things are really small, but as of now the collision should does its thing technically. At least in terms of Terra right now. So it's looking good enough. We have that done. What we're gonna do now is technically he can't attack right now. Can't be hit or anything else. You have to add these animations for yourself. What I can do too actually now is, we know that Terra has his Keyblade on his right hand. So we are looking for the Keyblade hand, since he works with his right hand. 39 should be his Keyblade hand, where his Keyblade is attached to. We are remembering 39 as his bone. Then we are going to open KH2FM editor, credits to Costa Nova, link in the description. Cool. And there we are going onto the data folder, KH2, and looking for 03 system, which is here. We are going to copy that over, going to back to our mod folder and putting it in KH2. Then we are going to drag and drop this file in here on the left side, double click it. Then we are going to skeleton. There we are going to character ID 3, which is Goofy, and typing on bone 1, 39 in there. Because this is Terra's Keyblade hand. If you would play Ventus or something and make a Ventus over, then his bone would be bone 19. And you would put 19 in there for his Keyblade hand. This is just where his Keyblade will spawn and how he will swing it at all the time. Then you just hit save current, export, override it. Then you can close it. Then we can start it again. Well, of course, I can't show you now how his Keyblade will or his shield will spawn in his hand, because that would imply that I add a lot of more animations, but overall it should be working. I will play up to the crash, because maybe we can see he's spawning his weapon in his hand, but it's just a goofy shield at the end, so yeah. Maybe we can't. Oh wait, we can maybe. Well, let's just test. It will definitely crash. Yeah. He spawned his weapon definitely and tried instantly to attack. I saw that for a split second. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. With that, it's pretty much done. Terra is imported as a model, has some custom collisions, and also has root motion. You need to add the EC caster on the running, walking and idle animation to work it properly. I forgot that step sometimes because it's pretty annoying at some point. And yeah, that should be about it. With that, we can move to the Dream Drop distance part now. So, about the DDD part, it's a bit more complicated. If you have extracted your game with Openkh Mod Manager, then the tool will not work. So, there's another tool that can extract these contents. It's just a bit more, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. So what you basically wanna do is, you want to have this tool here, KH2FM, whatever this is called. I think you get that also from the Openkh server, otherwise I don't know where I get that anymore. So you're going to open your Steam, or your Epic, or whatever you will. Here, then under Over Properties, Local File Path. Then it will open this here. Then you go to Image, DT, and see all this. You're going to copy that and put it in here. Then you will wait a while, and then you will put every single HED file one by one onto the exe and wait until it's done. It will export right now. I will do it with every file right now. So, when it's done, you can delete all of these files again, since you have no need for that anymore. Then you are going to open KH3D NMPC, which is a Unity tool made by this person down here. I can announce that, sorry. Then you click load PMO. So what you're gonna do now is you go in here, first export, Shada, PC, mic folder 0, bin, and copy that path and put it over in here. I had that already extracted and open because I had to do a lot of testing. Then you double click on the PMO. Then Sora will appear here. Move around with the right down click mouse, and this with mouse wheel, zoom in, zoom out, whatever. Yeah. You will just click for now export NUX, and it will say this, and export textures. It will say this. If you now go back into the tool, see an export folder, and see a lot of files, which is Sora. Just basically Sora. I'm going to rename this and name it 3D Sora for now. What we are gonna do now is we are loading a PAM folder. We have to know where the PAM folder is right now. Is it also here already? E1. It's probably A&M and then RT bin, and they are all PAMs. So you're going to load the PAM folder by doing all of this bit here. Desktop. Oh my god, this is Christ. Like that. This one DDD. This one export charter. PC1 A&M RT bin, and then click the folder bin and click OK. So now it will display an animation. And this animation, to extract, you just simply click export nux. Say animation exported. You now go back in here to export. You see this file name. You click on your keyboard on the right to display the next one. You can go back with left, and the right is the next one. So I'm looking for the running animation and the walking animation for this tutorial. And this is the walking animation. So we're going to export this, hitting next. This is the running animation, hitting next. And that's pretty much about the part for extracting animations and models you have seen. You have load only the PMO, then it will T-pose, and then you can export the nux for just the model itself. So we can close that now. We have various nux files, but we wanna do Sora first. So I'm going to here. Open Oasis, which has a Nux plugin, and then I'm just going to drag and drop Sora in here. Then I'm going to right click and export as a DIA. Export complete. That's it. Then we have this one file here. Now I'm going to copy all these files over to our KH2 tools. I can delete all of that again. And then we are going to Soraiko's old MDLX builder and put our DIA file in here, or model file. Then we are opening the builder and drag and drop simply DIA. So you will see nothing happened. This is the thing about DDD a little bit. It will not building anything. In order to fix the problem for some reason, you just uncheck parse bone names and then you drag and drop the DIA onto them. See, it's working. Now the problem is again like we have in the BBS tutorial. It's freaking small. It's looking good, but it's freaking small. So we are redoing it, but this time we are hitting 100 again. Typing 100 again here, and then drag and drop the DIA again. And now it's looking correct from the height and on. We are going to close that again. And then I will delete all the stuff I don't need anymore. Then we are just drag and drop our new model in here, which will be Sora, of course. So PAX 100. Oops. Oop. If I click on that model again, see, it's all there. Textures are all there, looking a bit stretched, but we can fix that with master textures again, so there's no problem. So then we are going back to our DDD folder where we exported the animations 3 at once. we are going to open Oasis again, putting the models in here. It will be just white, but the models are working really fine. Then we are exporting it as an FBX, which will take a little while. Then we are doing the same with this animation. And this animation. Going to export it. Now we have 3 FBX files to use. That we'll put in here for now. If I open it right now, 3D Viewer will display it. Just black. So, then we are going back into our KH2 tools. And then we are looking for our NB Maker batches again. Made by Oathseeker. Which we had to put in here from a folder. And then we are just going to drag and drop the first animation onto the scale one because we have scaled up the model times 100. And then we are typing root in there because if I remember correctly, DDD models uses root as root bone name. 100. And then we are just drag and drop our folder in here again. Now we have the problem that it's skipping meshes and all that stuff. We don't want to have happen that because it's important. The NB will be generated without a problem, yes, but yet it will not work correctly. So if I'm going to open our animation viewer, find controller, put the model in here, and then the MSET that gets generated with it, we are hitting with a problem. And this is something we don't wanna have. So what I do instead for now is, I'm going to open Blender again, import, and then we are looking for, let me see quick, putting this again here in tools, and then we are just opening it and the first animation. It will be freaky small, but this is okay. If we open our armature, we see root bone stuff, armature, hood, etc, etc. I'm going to increase the frame rate to 30. Will look like this now. And then we are adding as well another, I would say another keyframe from the beginning onto this. It will not line up perfectly, but it should be completely fine for this tutorial. And then we are exporting it as an FBX again. Making sure armature at leaf bones is unchecked and key all bones unchecked and LA strips unchecked before you export it as an FBX. That is done. You can put your new FBX in here. Type root, scaling, 100 and drag and drop the folder in here. This time the issue will not appear. If I now open our animation viewer, find controller, put this in here, and our generated MSET from the NB Maker, it's here. And I click on that, the animation will now work. It has 1990 frames. And the looping looks still perfectly fine. So we are doing the same now with the other animations. We have our idle here. But that's what we are going to do now. We are opening our FBX, which is now the second one, which is a walking animation. We are going to copy the first frame and then going back to the last frame. The last frame after the frame, next frame. Then we are going to increase the frame rate to 30, exporting it as FBX, name it walk, making sure that add leaf bounds, PR bounds and LA strips are unchecked. And then if I look at this animation again, looking good, but the looping is completely shit at this point. The idle animation was pretty fine, but in terms of the walking animation, just look garbage. So I'm going to export it right now without the last keyframe. And it still looks like this. So in order to fix that problem, you want to cap your frames right now to 25, I would say. And if you run the animation, you see how stuttery it is. So you wanna play around a little bit how it should look like. If I add this right now here, it will look a little bit like this. I move the keyframe a bit more here, it looks a bit more generous, I would say. You have to play around a little bit with the settings, but it will depends on your skills and patience if it will look good or not at the end. And I'm pretty satisfied with this. It looks pretty good, so I'm going to keep that animation and put it into the A&B Maker batch scale. Root 100, and then drag and drop folder, and boom, completely worked. Then I'm going to delete this one. Then we are going for the next animation. Will be the running animation. Import as an FBX. Last one, which is the running animation. Make sure frame rate always to 30. In terms of the running animation, we set 14 as maximum. See already it's like this, a bit stuttery, so we are going to Ctrl C to copy that keyframe, putting it in here and looking again. It looks still a little bit stuttery at some point, but it's totally fine. So we're going to export it again as run. Armature, add leaf bounds unchecked, key all bounds, export. Now looking at the running animation, looks like this. I'm pretty satisfied, it doesn't look too stuttery. You can work with that, I would say. You can change the frame rate also to 25 if it's something too fast or not too fast. You can play around with these settings up to this point. But I will say 30 is the best for that. So going to root, 100. Then the folder. We know already that DDD Sora is quite fast, I would say, in terms of his running animation. So it might look too fast, but it isn't actually. After we have our A and Bs, we can delete all of that. We have no need for that anymore, since it's totally working. And we are going to add these A and Bs right now in here. So what we are going to do now is add root motion to these animations, because these bones are rooting or something like that. But yeah, I don't know how to tell it. So we are opening KH2, which is an hex editor I prefer to use. Putting the A and Bs in here, just walk and run, because idle doesn't have root motion. Don't need that, so we don't mess with that. You scroll completely down to all these Fs, and onto these Fs you press zeros, only zeros. And then here, this one here needs to be 0 run. Right on the right from 3F. This activates the root motion. Then you're gonna save that and do the same on walk. completely down. Here, here, and here. Done. Save. You can delete the backups then afterwards. And now we are doing the mset actually. So you go to your Steam Openkh, data, KH2, OBJ, and look for Sora's mset, which you can find here. And then I'm copying it over in here. So then you are going to open KH2 mset editor, which you can find in Openkh server, from the Discord server. And then you drag and drop the mset into in here. There you are going to delete these two slots like that, because these two are idle animations. This one is the battle idle animation when Sora is in a battle and idles there. This one is the normal idle animation. I'm going to replace both of these with the normal idle animation right now. But it's something you can do on your own later on. I'm going to, on slot 2, do a right click and change this pointer. This allows us to change the same animation on that slot without increasing the file size, since KH2 still has a RAM limitation, which we still can bypass right now, but in terms of optimization, you can do that. Then I name it idle. Yeah. Same applies for here automatically, and there we will add, clicking on the green plus and adding this one. Start frame will be 0, end frame will be -1, which symbolize the end of the animation. This is needed for idle animations, walking and run stuff, such things. Otherwise, they will just run in place or something like that, and we don't want to have that. Then I'm going to delete 001s as well, which is all walking animations, different walking animations on Sora. Then we are going to put this in here. Name it walk. Putting the change pointer stuff in here. Looks like this, and there we are adding the same thing, since this is needed to walk properly, which looks like this now. Then we are doing the same with the running animation. Name it run or something. Then we are doing the same stuff here with the C-caster. Addon. And deleting the other one 002s too, because these are all running animation. And then we change the pointer to run to save more RAM. And that's pretty much about it. Now we can save the mset like that. Clicking on save mset, double click here, boom, it's pretty easy. So if that is done, then I want to add remaster textures. Right now, Sora looks like from a PlayStation 2 game or something, I would say. A lot more pixely or something. I mean, it will look more like a PlayStation 3, I think, because this is the PC version. But on PlayStation 2, it will look like a PlayStation 2 model, I would say. So what we're gonna do now is, we are going back to data on your Openkh folder, KH3D. Then going to remastered, Jada, PC, PAX01, MIG, 0, bin, PMO, and there are our textures, which we are going to copy. Then we are going to our mod folder where we can test our mods and adding a folder named OBJ. And there we are going to drag and drop these two files in here, our model and our moveset. Then we are going to add another folder and name it remastered. And in this folder we are going to add another folder named OBJ. And in this folder we are going to add another folder named p_ex100.mdlx. There we are going to put our files. So the thing is, it's not correctly named like that right now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm opening with the object editor this model, I would say, but I can't because this is an older version. There's a fix for that, which is pretty nice now. We are going to open the old AF MDLX editor. Shout out to Oathseeker for telling me that. And there we are looking for the old as MDLX editor. Here. We are going to open that, drag and drop our model in here. So this is our model technically, and then we are going to save as. And in here, we are replacing our old model with that. Then we close it. And now we are going to open the object editor again, drag and drop, and boom, there's our model. Don't worry about that, it will not look like that in-game. We are going to textures and see there are 5 textures. First one, second one, etc, etc. So I assume that the first texture in our remastered file will be exactly this one here. So this one, preferably not, this is more like an high poly texture, so we can delete that and just open the first one there, which corresponds to the model. And see there, it is the same texture but reversed. Interestingly. Which is funny. We will use that anyway for now. The next one is the other one, then this one, etc, etc. So we are renaming these remastered files to -0, the next one -1, next one -2, next one -3, and the last one for this model will be -4, not 5, -4. So with that we have added remaster textures to our new DDD model. So now we can test and run. Run only, don't build and run, only run because we are using our mod folder already as base for testing things, whatever. It's at least what I do most of the time. So let's see if it crashes or completely works as intended. So there is no crash, but yeah, the model looks a bit interesting. You see, the animations itself are completely working. It looks pretty correct in my opinion. But the textures are really something. So this is quite interesting, so we can do a little test, I would say, by going back into your mod folder, remastered, obj, and we will just rename this right now, so it will not get recognized as HD textures and starting the game again, and see if we just have to flip these textures or not. So, and let's see. Now Sora looks correct, but now we see something else. Yes, the textures are a bit off and weird and broken, but it looks most of the time pretty correct. So this is most likely an UV issue, I would say. So what we are gonna do now is we just doing this again, since the texture itself was correct. So we are opening this file with GIMP2, this is what I prefer. Then we are opening the model once again. Because we can see here the textures, how they are made or something. I'm going past us to the left desktop, going back into the remastered folder, back to GIMP, and see what I have to do. So I will just change that as of now. I'm going to... What was it again? Spiegeln, like this. Oh, not to the left or right. I want it to be up and down. I'll just scale it. Okay, I can't do it like that. How do I mirror that again? Mirror. No, I don't want to do this. Let me see quick. I kinda forgot how to do that actually, because I don't use that feature very often. So I'm not entirely sure right now how to mirror it. Yeah. Boom, like that. It's now mirrored like that. And this is pretty much done, I would say. Then we just overwrote our new DDS. Then we are opening the next one. Right click, Ebene, transformation, vertical. See if that looks correct. On the next texture, yes it does. Then we are overriding it again. And I'm going to open the next one and already the next one to make it fluent. And suck. Then we are doing the same again. Ebene, transformation, vertical, overrode. The next one. Ebene, transformation, vertical, overrode. Next one. Transformation, vertical, overrode. Textures are looking all correct now, and then we are going to test it again. If that fixes our problem. Otherwise you can fix this problem also with Blender if you import the model first into Blender after you have exported and converted it from Nux to FBX, of course. There might be some UV problems or flipping textures and stuff, and that's why it's looking like it is. But if we look right now onto that, we will see on PC that it's the same working as before pretty much, but the hands are now there, so that is a good point, I would say. So there's nothing we can do about it except for fixing the model in Blender quick, which I will do. I would have done it anyway because I wanted to show the progress for that. But yeah, so we are going back to our DDD, KH, anim viewer, export, 3D Sora, and we are deleting the DIA because we have no use for it. We are going to import on Nux, export it as an FBX, there it is. Then we are going to copy the path again, open Blender, and then we are going to import our FBX model, which will be this small little thing here. Then we are going to open the little viewport shading thing, let texture. It will look like this now, which is pretty much correct, you would say, right? But if we go into the UV editing, open our armature here, pressing on the first model, first changing back to object mode, clicking on the first mesh. Also scroll this little down, I would say, and make this one as well, flatten texture. Then switching back to edit mode. Will now look like this. This actually looks correct, but if you go into edit mode again for the next one, edit mode, boom, and you see for some reason this here. So what you're gonna do is you move, you just click here on the right side with your mouse to see all this. You press A on your keyboard and it will show up like this. On the left side, it's the same. You press A to mark all of this. Then you click on the move tool and move it over the texture because it needs to be on the texture. It might be slightly off or something. Then you can play a little bit with that, but this looks already pretty correct for me. And you're going back to object mode, clicking in next mesh, edit mode, and see that this one as well is moved to the side, which is wrong. So you're going to fix that as well, like this. Going back to object mode, next mesh, which will be the eyes, which look like this. There we have to play a bit better. Control down and then no, control down and then middle mouse wheel click. You can move like that, so you may see a bit better for this model. So we are going to put this down till it looks like this. Yeah, it should be correct though. Back to object mode for the mouth. Edit mode, and the mouth is somewhere here for some reason. So we are going to move that down till it's like this and till it's like this. Maybe a little bit up. Yeah, so something like that. If we're going back to layout, looking Sora straight into the face, press Ctrl on your keyboard, middle mouse wheel and zoom in up to the point where you can see his face correctly. And you can also hide the bones on the top right here. And it will look like this. I can also combine the full mesh. If I press the first one, then press Shift and click on the last mesh. Then go with your mouse somewhere else in the middle, press then Ctrl J. And this is what it looks like in-game afterward. But I will do it like that. Then you are going to export this as an FBX again. Make sure that add leaf bones are unchecked and export it. Then you are going to open Oasis again and put the model in here. And then you export it again as a DIA. Boom, done. Then you are going to copy that DIA. Going back to KH2 tools, Soraiko's old builder, because this is the better one. Oh, I forgot the textures. Oops. The textures as well. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Copy, they're all upside down, so that's why we made the remastered files also upside down. It should be now compatible. KH2 tools, Soraiko's old builder, putting it in here, einfügen. And then reopening it again. Make sure that you have the scale on times 100. Then you are just gonna drag and drop it in. Oh yeah, and uncheck pass bounds. And done. And there is our new Sora. Really working. So we are going back to our mod folder for OBJ, delete this one and putting this one in here. p_ex100. And then we can start the game again and see how it will look like. So fingers crossed that everything looks completely okay. And see there? Nope. It looks now completely wrong for some reason. But why is that so, you may think? Well, if we now look into the object editor again and putting our model in here, we can't open it because we haven't done the other step. Opening the old MDLX editor again. It's here. Putting our model in here. Save as. Overriding it quick. Then putting it again into the object editor. We see that our textures has swapped with our remastered textures. So what you usually can do is you can put this again on the front. Then this one will be texture 0 again. And this one needs to be second, I think. Third one, fourth, and 5. So this should fix the issue. And we are just overriding the MDLX. If I look again, it will look like this now, like we have seen in-game if I remember correctly. But the textures are now on the correct spots. Then we will run it again. So, let's see how it looks like. Now it looks still like this. Why are the hands on the gloves? We will just, I mean, it should normally not look like this. Why are the eyes? Textures are technically correct. I'm going to remake the remaster textures quick. So I have here a copy. Then I'm going to add the old ones back. Up to this point, copy paste. Renaming it again to -1. -0, sorry. -1. -2. -3 and -4, just to make something sure. But I will not test it like that. I will rename that as well and then going to run it again. See if something is off with the model or something. Or I test it again with the remastered files. Just to make always sure that is not really the problem, or if it is. Because I still might have mixed some things up. But this is what we're gonna see. Alright, the model looks like this now. Okay, it's not because of HD textures. Or is it because I switched the internal texture now? That might be a thing. Oops. Let's just open that again. OBJ. This one was down. This one was... You know what? We just build it again. I'm now confused. KH2 tools, RECOM builder. We have all our textures in here. Just to check something, we will put the DAA in here. It looks correct. This is the one we definitely have made. Parser born on. This. Titled. Again. And it looks good. There is our model. Leading it again, name it p_x100. And I'm going back here, mastered. Just in case, I will rename that as well, because it might be a bit fishy. Because I know that Openkh can link textures even if they don't have their same name for some reason. Don't ask me why. Let's see again how it looks like. I mean, it should look correct as of now. Maybe I just messed it up with the object editor for some reason. Which normally works, but I don't know. And yeah, now the texture looks actually correct. Animation seems to be run a bit too fast. At least it's an aggressive idle animation. But it is working. So now we're just gonna add these HD textures. Which I'm gonna do. So let me just think. I will put this right now in. Then I'm going to open all these textures. Because of one single thing. This, and doing this. If I now open the model again, wait, not with the object editor, I don't have it. I'll be doing it like that. You see, the first texture is this one. And I know for sure that this texture is on our remastered files on place 2. So we are going to change this one to 6 and -1 to 0. And our first texture is our actual second texture. So I have to switch this now to 7 and 6 is 1. Our third texture is the face. So our -2, what we have before at 3, is now -2. Wait, no. Face is -2. Putting it back to 7. I'm stupid. The face is texture 3, which needs to be 2. And this texture here needs to be 3. So I'm going to reopen every single texture file again to see if the thing is correct. We're going to open that now. Texture 4 is the mouth. Texture 3 is this. Also correct. Correct. This time the textures itself are also correct. So the problem now is that we have the reversed versions. So we can technically delete all of this. Awesome. Then I can put these textures back in. Which are the originals, right? Yes, they are. Okay. I'm going to put that back in here. Going to open that again because they didn't have to be mirrored for some reason. The exporter just messed up for some reason. So classic. So then do it again. 5 will be 4 will be always 4. 3 will be -3. This one needs to be -3. Going to put that on -7. This one will be -3. And secondly is the face, so -3 that was before is -2. Yes. This will be this will -3 will be. Oh, it's so weird. What was it again? 8, right? This will be -3. And next texture is the actual texture which we have on here. Will be -1. And 7. Wait, texture 0 will be third one, so it should be this one. Oh, this is the face, which needs to be -2. Yes. -2, then is this one -0. So that should now completely done, I hope, in terms of HD textures. Yeah, DDD is a little bit more complicated than other stuff. And RECOM will be not easy as well. So let's see if it's looking correct now. And there's our textures. And it looks nearly correct. I mean, there's some slight change though. Oh yeah, there is. I think I messed one texture up. Let's fix it. All of this again. Then we are reopening all of these. Ah, I see already. Wait, no, I don't see it. Or did I mess up? Kind of hard to tell something. Is this correct? Oh yeah, I messed up. I switched 0 and 3. So I have to switch 0 to 3, 3 to 0. Boom. And now we are going to load it again. That should fix now all our problems. This looks correct. Now we have imported the animations, model. Is that correct? Seems kind of weird. But otherwise, it looks okay. So this is now how to import a model and animation from DDD into KH2. So, but we are not completely done, because this Sora doesn't have collisions. So we are adding collisions now. For that we are going back to our data folder from Openkh, opening KH2, then OBJ and looking for Sora's player model, which is here. We are going to copy that and putting it just in here. There we are going to Openkh again and looking for the bar editor, which is under tools right here. Double click on that, putting Sora's model in here, clicking on model collision, export this model and click save. So this one is done here now. Then you're going to put your new DDD model in here, click on add On dummy, change the type to model collision. Name it, I don't know, I will name it just E_x. Then you hit import and choose the cocked model and hit save. This is the first step. Then you can keep the Sora, but you can delete this one. You can delete this one, this one, this one. Then we are going to open the old AF MDLX editor again, because we need to actually edit the collision files, so we have to do that. Opening this, putting the model in here, save as, overwrite, boom, done. If I'm going to open now the Open Object Editor, we see this. Edit collisions, we have a lot of collisions. We can ignore all of these ones with 60,000 or something, but we have to edit all of these. So for that, you are going to open now again the MDLX editor, which is not the old AF one, just this one here. Put your original KH2 model in there, Sora, and click on this tab here. Will open all the collisions. 140 bone is actually the head, so this will look like this. But now we have to open our model as well here to see where our head model is. We'll see like that. So it's our head, which is bone 8. So that means 130 needs to be changed to 8. I'll move that to the side again. This will be a lot harder than that. And then for bone 12, it's his upper left knee or something, his left knee. For for Sora it is, there what it seems to be bone 47. So we are adding it here as well. So 41 will be probably the exact opposite. So I am counting that in. 8. We have this, but okay. 54, which is the other side, which we will do in here, because if I click on this now, it's exactly the other side. Then we have 2, which is our hit thing, which is right above your P. This point here, what is it called? Waist? There we are going to same, which is, oh, not this. No. Which is this one, 42. So we will change that like that. And the next one is 67, which is his upper part. So we are going to do that as well. This 1, 2 or 3? Or it's more 3, right? We are adding 3 onto that. And 58 is its hand. So we are looking for hand bone now, which will be around one, I assume. This is his keyblade bone. So I assume this is what Sora's keyblade bone is, 85. So we are going to change 23 here. Moving on to the next one. 12 again. It's the same, so it's 74 and 54. 130 is 8. Then we have the next one, which is 1, which is his neck. Does DDD Sora have a neck? Not entirely sure. Yes, it has. So it's bone 7. So we are going to add here bone 7. Here 8 again, because it's the same bone. 67 was what again? Boss has upper chest, so we are changing that to always 3. And 2 will be... Was it 23? What's his key big one? Was his wrist here? 42. I'm going to change that to 42. There is 67 again, which is 3. This one is also 3. I'm going to press save like an idiot and then overrode MDLX. Boom. We can close that. Close that. Well. And then we run again. DDD part is already 1 hour long. That's a lot. So we are going to test it again. Because right now we should have an actual collision and can fall through the world or run through objects and stuff. And let's see. What? This seems to be working. We have a collision now. That means we can mess up stuff. But yeah, so DDD Sora is pretty much done, I would say. And that also means we could move on to the RECOM part now. Sounds like a good idea. Alright, now moving on to the last part probably. RECOM models and animations. So there are actually 2 ways to obtain RECOM models and animations, but with the same tool. The thing is, the tool, this one here, was made for, well, PlayStation 4. So you need a PlayStation 4 copy of that game. But there's a workaround for that. But it involves hex editing. So what you're gonna do is pretty much opening your extracted folder that you have extracted with KH1, with the Openkh mod manager. And then you want to get the model file and the animation file. I'm going to copy that over to here now as example. So then I will copy the path of the RECOM viewer. If I now try to open the model, it will just happen absolutely nothing, because it can't load that. So what we're gonna do is now we open a hex editor, putting the model in here, adding zeros up here. Oh wait. Need to add the zeros. So we are going completely down, adding a row here onto zeros. Should look like this now. Then you're going to copy these ones with Ctrl C. You can delete these again, scrolling completely to the top, going up here and press Ctrl V. So it adds a new row. Then you scroll again down and look what here is written. You need to write the offset down. But the offset itself needs to be written backwards. So 43C and 04. This is what you need. Then you scroll up again, mark these 3 and put 43C 04 in there. And then you're just gonna save. Or save as a file. I will just save. Because now we are not done. You can delete the backup now. If you now open the RECOM viewer and try to load the model, like this, it will work. Sometimes it will also just break or something. Sometimes it also just works if you rename the file with a new behind there or something. It depends. But as of now, you have the model and you can just export the NUCs. The thing is, about the PC version, you will have no textures. So that means you actually have to get the textures from the remastered folder of RECOM. Just to keep that in mind. We are doing now the same with the animation file. So I'm just going to add a row. I still had it in my copy-paste thing. Scrolling down and see the new offset of this animation file, which will be F0 8E 1A. We are going to scroll up again and typing the same thing up here. F0 8E 1A. Then going to save it. This is pretty much about this part. Then I can open it again, load the model with the RECOM viewer, tap in this and load on, like this. And the animations will play. Then you can extract these animations. If you now go into export, layer 1, you have two things. You can open noises again, like we did with the DDD files. Put the model in here, you see the model is there. Bone count, meshes, etc, but zero textures. You have to add these textures manually with the remaster textures in Blender to make that work. The animation itself is also there, but that doesn't matter because animations doesn't have textures. So, if that's pretty clear, then we are going to actually make that now. I will just explain how to make this model has textures. We are going to export as an FBX now. Going to close that. There's our FBX. Then I'm going to open my data folder in Openkh. Wait, it's the wrong one where I hadn't it extracted. I have another instance. There's my other Openkh folder, data, RECOM, and then we are looking for remastered. Then scrolling down to player 1. Then it is RTM, I think. And if we double click on that, it's a DS file. We see there's Sora's texture. You open the other one as well. And then we are going to save that as, I don't know, -0.png, because why not? Export. We're doing the same with this one. -1.png. And done. So, then you are going to put this in here. Delete these here again. I will copy the remaster textures as well because I will need them later. And I can close it. Then I'm going to open Blender. Deleting all of that. Import FBX. Then we are going for RECOM viewer, export first, and our model, which will be also small as hell. But if we now going for shading, flat texture, there is no texture in there. So we open our model, mesh, going for material properties, base color, image, open, DL0001, doing the wrong texture, this. Wait, what? Wait, this is our texture, right? Oh wait, this is the texture. It just looks completely wrong. If you encounter this, you go into UV editing. Then you see this. So the thing is, we want to make it look correct. So it's a bit weird looking as of now. Going to do the same as here. And then we just click on the left side on keyboard A. And then we are going to use the scale and moving it down up to around this point. We go back into layout again. Sora looks correct. UV itself was flipped or something. Going to the next one. Base color, image, duck, 1. Looks also dark, so we are going back into this mode. Doing the same as here. Around like this. Layout, and there's our RECOM Sora. Looking ready to export. So we're going to export this as an FBX. Here, make sure that add leaf bones is unchecked, then export FBX. Boom. Now our Sora actually has textures. Now we are going to open noises and putting our FBX in here. And then we're just going to export this as a DIA. Okay. Now we are getting both the textures and the DIA, copying that, going back to our KH2 tools folder, so Ryko's old MDLX builder, einfügen, copying it over in here, opening this one, and then we just simply, like DDD or BBS file, scale to 100, parse bone names unchecked, putting the DIA in here, let the magic work. It will look like this now. This is the method if you use the PC version to make the model. I will show you now how to make the same just with the PlayStation 4 operation. But I will keep this is cool. For that we are going back to our RECOM folder and then we are opening UNPSArc. You need to have a copy of KH 1.5 and 2.5 and need a way to install it and copying that out or somewhat or using an emulator or whatever. However you want to get your hands on that, doesn't matter. Then you drag and drop the RECOM resource PSArc file that you get afterwards into UNPSArc, which I will link below in the description, and do this. And then we will wait until everything is exported. So when it's done, you can pretty much delete the RECOM resource one. There's your unpacked version of PlayStation 4 KH. RECOM, region of memories. So we are going back to our RECOM viewer tool and deleting all of this because we have no needs for this anymore. Frick, I deleted the master texture. Keep in mind that the remastered textures from the PlayStation 4 version can't be extracted that way, except if HD assets is able to, which will we test actually, because I'm interested in doing that. We're going for Steam Openkh, scrolling a bit down to HD assets. Then we are going back to an on PSArc, on unpacked version, layer 0001, because the PlayStation 4 version doesn't have something like that. All of that is stored into the model file now, or TXA, some sort like that. We are opening this, assets, again, model. Wait, it might be unrecognized or something. Ah, it's just like... Okay. Wait, I can just extract it. Let's just try that. Extract model. Resource unpacked, blah blah blah. Nothing happened, so I guess there's no remaster texture inside this model. Ah, it might be an RTM actually. Because this is where the remaster textures are, I'm stupid. Doing this. Extract. RTM. And there is actually something, and we get this. I don't know how to use this, so make sure that you have RECOM also on your PC extracted or something to get the actual DDS files or something. Because I don't know how to open this. I don't know if GIMP can open this, probably not. So yeah, this is what I thought. So we are ignoring this. But what we can do now is opening the RECOM viewer. So, load the model. Going to on PS Arc, extract the player 1, then just model. And it will here with texture. So you can just export the NUX. Then we are going to load the animation file. Also here. There's our idle, which we can also extract. Press on your keyboard right to switch the animation. Press the keyboard left to go back. So we want to have the the walking animation. So I'm going to export that. And I want to have the running animation. So I'm exporting that as well. And that's pretty much about the PlayStation 4 version of that model. So, we are going back in here and we have our files. Oh, I forgot. Oh shoot, I forgot to extract the textures as well. Export textures, so the textures get exported as well. And there we have it. 2 textures. Then we are going to open Oasis and putting the Nux in here. And then export as DIA. We're now doing the same thing, except that we need the step for Blender. I'm going to export these animations as well, but as FBX. Wait, I haven't marked it. My fault. Will be like this. Next one. Export. And the last one. 3 animations are way enough. I actually only need 2, by the way. I don't know why I have a third one. So. And with that, we are going to copy over this, and we're copying over this and this. Going to cut that out. Putting it into KH tools. Right here. Delete this again. And then I'm going to cut this out, only the model, to Sora's builder. Then we are going to open this, making sure that the scale is times 100 and uncheck parse bone names. Then putting the DIA in there. Will look like this now. Then we can close that. Then I can delete these files again, and then I'm going to rename it to x100, putting it in here. That's pretty much done. So they're pretty much identical, like you see. The file size is exactly the same. So it doesn't really matter. PlayStation 4 version is just better. So I'm going to cut this out already. Then we are creating a remastered folder in our mod folder. Remastered. Then we are creating a folder named OBJ in there. And in this folder, we are naming a folder named PIX100.mdlx. There we are going to put our remastered textures in there and naming it -0 and -1. So after that is done, we just have to make these animations now. So we are going to open Blender again, new one, and delete this stuff. File, import, FBX, KH2 tools, the first animation, which will be also really small, making sure it runs just fine. And yeah, then we are doing the same pretty much like we did for DDD. If I now go down onto 51 around, should be like this, I think. If I now play the animation, it should loop better. Then we are keep that at 25, I think, because for the DDD part, we did the frame rate to 30, but it seemed a bit too fast. So I will keep it at 25. So now I'm going to export this animation already as untitled, because why not? Unchecking all of these. Wait, no, we name it idle. It's better. And export. If I now check the idle animation, it should look like this. Pretty okay, I would say. We are doing the same now with the running animation. Which are the only two animations we will need to make a working Sora, I would say. We keep that at 25 and doing the same here. So this will be 60. And we are copying over Ctrl C, the first keyframe, and putting it to the last one with Ctrl V. If I play the animation, it looks a little bit laggy maybe. You have to play around so it will look better for you. You can always move around the keyframe by you grab it and then press Ctrl so you can move it freely along. I'm going to export it right now as it is what it is and name it run. Opening this and making sure uncheck add leaf bounds, uncheck key all bounds, uncheck NLA strips. Run. There's our running animation, which looks like this now. The loop seems to be pretty okay, I would say. So like all the last times, make sure that your batch files are in here, which we had moved on here. This is thanks to Oathseeker for making these batch files. And then we are putting the idle animation onto NB Maker batch scale because we have scaled the model up to ×100. RECOM animations also uses root. Scaling 100. Then I'm going to put it into the OBJ folder. So this is the first time we have that problem since I make it for testing purposes. Value was either too large or too small for an int 16. So that means that the animation is too big. Pretty much not too small, but probably too big. So we are going to adding the idle animation again. So how it is, like this. And then we are just going to export this animation and making small steps. We are unchecking all of this again, and onto sample rate we put 1.5 in there. And overriding the idle. And then we are testing it again. Root 100, folder OBJ. And boom, it worked. Our idle mset. If I look in here now, there is our idle A and B. And we do the same with run. The root bonus root, scale 100, and putting the A and B in this folder. So then I can delete all of this again. And then I'm going to open the KH2 mset editor, which you can find on Openkh Discord server, etc, etc. Then we are going back to data, KH2, Openkh, where your exported files are, OBJ, scrolling down to PAX100.mz is here, copying that over, then putting the copied over mz into the editor. Then you just delete slot 0 and slot 2, then put idle in here. Make sure to click on that plus, then on this controller, on end frame type -1. You need this for idle animations, walking animations and running animations pretty much. Rare cases on something else as well. Then I'm going to change the pointer by doing right click here, change pointer. This allows us to use one animation for 2 slots on this specific mz. I'm going to rename it as idle. Here's it the same. Then I'm going to delete slot 8 and put the running animation in here. Doing the same here with the controller. Add. And then I'm going to delete all of that as well, because this is also just a running animation. Change this pointer. A100.99. Here, I'm going to save the mz onto here. Boom. So, then I'm going to close that, and then I will test the game if everything works again. So let's see. And what we see is, we see this. The animation is working completely fine, but the textures are not. And this is actually a small problem that we had in the DDD part as well. If you know already what will come, you can pretty much skip this part and we are pretty much done afterwards, except for the collisions. So, with that, I'm going to fix that. Wait, no. First of all, back to the remastered folder and changing the name of that first. Maybe I just switched the textures around and that is not an UV failure. But we will see. So, the animation itself, the model itself looks good. So I just switched for some reason the remastered textures. But yeah, there is no collision. That means we can also run on air and out. But overall, Sora looking good. Because it's the end of the world. Yeah, we have our KH RECOM Sora in here. So, then that's pretty much it. I just need to switch the remastered textures around, because I switched them up for some reason. So this one needs to be 0 and this one needs to be 1. I'm still going to make the collisions quick. So I'm going to open the object editor and put our model in here, which will work this time. Nice. And we don't have any collisions. Great. So we are going to open the bar editor in Openkh tools here. And let's see. Then going to put Sora original model in here, clicking on model collision, export, and save. Then we are putting our model in here, add, click on dummy, name the tag like how you want. Type will be model collision, and then you click on import and choose cock model. Then you click file and save. Boom. Then you're going to open the object editor again, put the model in here, click on collisions, which will appear here now. Now you need to move that a bit away, opening your model, since you have to see your collisions, your bone structure and stuff. We are looking now for the head. And the head is... there it was. 76. 60, 70, I don't know. I know that KH2 Sora's 140 bone is his head, so we are doing it like that. Every other will be this as well. Then we are moving on to 12. For that, we are going to open the MDLX editor, KH2 MDLX editor. There we are going to put our original Sora in here, KH2. Open this. Look where that is. It's both of his knees, so 12 and 41. We are looking for his knee bones, which are these probably. We are looking around. There it was one. This is the left one. Leg. And we are using this one for the hitbox. So it's 10 for the... yeah. For the 31 one. I'm putting in 10 here as well. And for 12 we are looking for this one, which is bone 22. Going instead of 12, it will be 22, 12, 22. And then we are going for bone 2, which we know is something like placed here. We are looking for the same bone on this model, which is also 2, so we can leave it as 2. And 67 is Sora's upper chest here. So we are looking for that as well, which is... there it was. This one around 37. I'm going to put 37 in here. Here as well, and there, and there, and there, and there. Now 85 is left. Which is cast item, more like his keyblade bone. Which is no, it's not his keyblade bone. It's his left hand. Something like here probably. So if you look from there, you might wanna use this bone here probably. Which we gonna do, I think. There. 102. So I'm going to put 102 in there. So we have already 22, this one. 76 is... we have 76. This head, yeah. Then the next one is... this bone here, which is his neck. We are looking for his neck as well, which is just below. Going to put 75 in there. And these we are all bones. So I'm just going to press save multiple times. Then file, override, MDLX. I can close this. All of this. Then we're just gonna run only again and see if the HD textures are now correctly and that we have our collision. So then let's see. And it seems to look broken. It might be probably because the HD textures of the PlayStation 4 model are different than the PC model actually, which is surprising. Cool. Not cool, but good to know. And yeah, collisions are now working as intended. Like, I can interagere with save, I can glide there, run, idle, and that's pretty much done. So keep in mind, if you wanna use the PlayStation 4 version, it doesn't have, it seems, remastered textures, or at least I don't know how to extract them properly, because I'm not sure if we have a tool to actually open these files. Exactly. Where was it again? Yeah. These files, G and F. That's pretty much about the RECOM part. So I have pretty much covered everything you pretty much need, I think. For importing animations, collision making, root motion, and importing models from different Kingdom Hearts games. So I hope it was pretty helpful. And maybe we will see us in the next tutorial. See ya!